Hello everybody and welcome along to today's session, the Big Sage Payroll Quiz. My name's Calvin and I will be one of your hosts and presenters for today, and I am joined by Duncan, who will be co-hosting and driving the presentation for me today alongside me. So without further ado, we shall move on to round one, which is all about starters and leavers. So we ran this session on Tuesday morning. So if you have attended that, you should be at a little bit of an advantage, but don't worry if you didn't, you can still get involved as we will be running through some answers and Duncan will be showing you a few things about those answers as well. So let's get things started with question one. So I'm going to bring up the first poll now. So we're going to be hitting launch. So this is one where you can have more than one answer. So the question is, where can you produce a P45 for a leaver? You should see that question on screen. Now we are going to be leaving questions up for a minute maximum. There will be no exceptions. And once the minute comes to a close, we will be closing the question down. We have had 30 seconds of that already. So remember, there is more than one correct answer here. So where can you produce a P45 for a leaver in Sage 50 Payroll? Okay, that is the minute up. So let's close that one down. So that was question one. Let's move on to question two. So we'll launch this one now. So question two, what did HMRC replace the P46 form with? Was it a P45D? Was it a starter checklist? Or was it the emergency tax form? So this is a single answer. So you only need to select one for this question. And that is the minute done. So we shall close this one as well. And we'll move on to the next question. As I mentioned, we will be revealing the results, but we'll be revealing them after we've gone through the questions for each round. So question three, let's launch that one. So on the starter checklist, what tax code is used when selecting statement C? A bit of a spoiler for the previous question there. But on the starter checklist, what tax code is used when selecting statement C? Is it BR? Is it 1257L? Or is it a 0T week 1 month 1 tax code? And that is the minute up. So we shall be closing this one. And let's move on to our final question of round one, which is, at which point in the payroll process would you complete the leaver wizard? Is it when the full pay run is complete? Is it after enter payments? Or is it after update records, but before the FPS? When do you process your leaver wizard? At which point in the payroll process would you do this? It's a common question, this one, in the webinar on Tuesday. So hopefully we covered that one enough for anyone who was there. Okay, that is the minute. So that is round one complete. So let's close that one down. And we will be revealing the answers shortly, in which case I'll be handing over to Duncan very shortly. But first, let's reveal the answer for question one, which was, where can you produce P45 for a leaver? And if I reveal the results before we bring Duncan in, so let's share those results on screen for you. So we had 97% went through the leaver wizard, 49% for the reports, and 4% for pre-update reports. Don't worry if that one didn't add up to 100%. Remember, there was more than one answer that you could select. So I'm going to hide that now. We'll bring Duncan in to reveal the answer. So over to you, Duncan. What is the answer?
So well done, 97% who got one of the right answers, the leaver wizard. And another correct answer for this question is the reports option. So when it comes to producing the P45 itself, you do still need to enter the leave date first, which you would generally do via the leaver wizard, but you could do it directly in the employee record or by importing leave dates from Sage HR. And then within the reports, there are P45 layouts that you can run for anyone you've already processed as a leaver. So either directly from the Leaver Wizard, or once you've done the Leaver Wizard, you can run it from reports. And we'll give you a demo a little bit later on that one.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Okay, so question 2. The question was, what did HMRC replace the P46 form with? Was it the P45D? Was it the starter checklist? Or was it the emergency tax form? Let's share the results for question 2. And then again, Duncan will be revealing the answer. So 96% went with starter checklist, 3% with P45D, and there was 1% went emergency tax form. So once more, let's hide those results. And Duncan, can you tell us what the correct answer is for this one?
I can, and we didn't fool you here. It's 96% of you were correct. It's the starter checklist, previously a P46, but HMRC haven't used that term for many years, although we do still use it in the program. P45D we made up, and emergency tax form again is a made up answer. So well done. You got that one right. That one was starter checklist, and you can download it by following the link there, which will be on your handout at the end. So on to question 3.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Yes, so let's reveal question 3. So on the starter checklist, what tax code is used when selecting statement C? Was it BR 1257L, 0T, week 1, month 1? So once more, we will share the results. And once more, we do have a big majority here. So 78% of you went with BR, 10% 1257L, and 12% 0T, week 1, month 1. So we did have a big majority answer there. And again, once more, Duncan, can you reveal were the majority right?
They certainly were. So it is BR, basic rate, for those on statement C. I will quickly show you that as well, just to sort of prove that that is the correct answer. So when you're creating a new starter from your employee tasks, so I'm going to do it in the quick employee screen. They filled in the starter checklist, which we still call a P46 in Sage, and they chose statement C. It is the BR tax code that they would go on. So if there was no statement signed at all, that's when they go on 0T on a week 1, month 1 basis, and the other answer relates to statement A. So well done those that said statement C. BR, I should say. That was the correct answer for statement C. Back to you, Calvin.
Thank you again, Duncan. Okay, final question of round 1, which was, at which point in the payroll process would you complete the Leaver Wizard? As I mentioned, we did have quite a few questions about this in our session in our starters and leavers on Tuesday morning. So let's reveal the results first of all, before Duncan reveals the answer. So let's share that one once again. So again, another big majority. So we have 13% on when the full payroll is complete. We have 5% have said after you've entered payments, and 83% have said after update records, but before running your FPS. So again, we'll hide that one down. So Duncan, can you reveal what the right answer is?
I can indeed, and well done to the 83%. It is after update records, but before the FPS. Now, the reason for this is that you need to include the leaving details in the FPS. So if you've done the full pay run, including the FPS, you've missed your chance to do that. So it'd have to wait for the next submission or an FPS adjustment, which is why you do it at the point after you've updated records. And a quick tip from me, if you ever need a reminder of what order you need to do any of your payroll tasks in, if you switch on your process map, so I'll come out of this new starter screen, if you change your view from the payroll tasks, if you change your view to the payroll process, that will tell you what order you need to do things in. And as you can see, processing leavers is after you update records, but before you send the full payment submission. So well done, 83%. You got that answer spot on.
Brilliant. Thank you so much again, Duncan. Okay, so that brings us into round 2, which is about sickness and maternity, which again we ran on Tuesday, which was Tuesday afternoon. So we did run that session then. So let's bring up question 5 it is, but it's question 1 of this round. So we'll be doing it in order all total 16 questions, I believe. So let's go question 5. And we'll launch that one again. So remember, you've got a minute to fill this one in. And it is, what does the symbol equals sign mean in the absence diary? Is it SSP payable? Is it waiting days? Or is it a historical non-qualifying day? So what does that equal sign symbol mean in the absence diary? Okay, we have had 1 minute for this particular question, so let's close that one down now, and we'll be moving on. As I mentioned, we are being pretty strict with the timing today. We have a lot of questions to get through, so we're sticking with that minute mark, so be sure to be quick. Okay, so that was question 5. Let's move on to question 6, and we shall launch that one as well. So, what is the current weekly rate of statutory sick pay, or SSP? Is it £109 and 40 pence? Is it £99 and 35 pence? Or is it £172 and 48 pence? Okay, that is the minute mark. So that is the deadline for this question. So let's get that one closed down, and we'll move on to question number 7. So we're halfway through round 2 already. So let's get question 7 up and running and launch that one. So question 7. What is the maximum number of weeks of statutory maternity pay, or SMP, entitlement? Is it 26 weeks? Is it 39 weeks? Or is it 52 weeks? So this is the maximum number of weeks for maternity entitlement. Okay, that is the minute up. So we shall close that one down, and we'll be moving into question number 8. So this is the final question for round 2, and it is a multiple choice one. So again, you have more than one answer for this particular one. So we shall launch that one as well. So the question is, how can you adjust your pay to include statutory payments such as SSP or SMP in enter payments for company absence schemes? Can you do it manually? Do you record the absence after the scheme ends? Or do you use the Makeup Basic option in enter payments? So remember, there is more than one correct answer in that list of 3. Could be all 3. We might be throwing a couple of curveballs there, who knows? But there is definitely more than one correct answer. Okay, that is the minute. So we are going to be closing this question down right now. There we go. Okay, so that's round 2 is complete. So we shall be revealing the answers. But first, I know, bonus question. So we have a bit of an anagram with a clue here, and we will reveal that once we've gone through all the answers for round 2. So what could Tasty Tour possibly be in an anagram? So for your answers for this one, if you want to use the questions panel on the right hand side, just pop in what you think it could be, and all shall be revealed at the end. Or alternatively, you can write it down. Don't need to pop it in the questions if you don't want to, if you just want to play along at the office or at home, as I mentioned. So it is Tasty Tour, and the clue is you've got to do it. So what is it? So that is the anagram. So let's start revealing some answers for round 2. So the question 5 was, what does the symbol equals mean in the absence diary? SSP payable, waiting days, historical non-qualifying day. So let's share the results of question 5 first of all, and then Duncan shall be revealing our answer once more. Okay, so a little bit closer this time, but we did still have a majority there. So 6% went with SSP payable, 39% went with waiting days, with 56% having historical non-qualifying days. So let's hide that one down now. Duncan, what was the answer?
So the answer was a historical non-qualifying day. So well done to the 56% who gave that answer. And I'm going to quickly show you that as well. So I do have an employee who's been on sick leave for a number of weeks. And if we take a look at his absence diary, or her absence diary, I should say, this is the equal sign, which is landing on a weekend for this employee, which happens to be a non-qualifying day as they only work Monday to Friday. It's historical because it's already been updated, so that's why it's an equal sign. A dash would be a current non-qualifying day. Your X's are your waiting days, and your P's are your SSP payable days. So well done to those that said historical non-qualifying day.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Okay, so well done everyone who got that one correct. Question 6 now. So what is the current weekly rate of statutory sick pay? Was it £109.40? Was it £99.35? Or was it £172.48? So once again, let's share the results. And once again, we had a big majority. I think we might need to start making these questions a little bit difficult if we do this again, Duncan, who knows? So 80% went with £109.40, with 11% saying £99.35 and 9% saying £172.48. Tied that. Duncan, can you reveal the answer for us, please?
I certainly can, and well done, 80% of you got that right. It's £109.40 per week for the 23 to 24 tax year. Answer B was last year's SSP rate, £99.35, and answer C is the standard rate for statutory parental payments, £172.48. So well done to those that said answer A.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Yes, option B does tend to throw a few people, so well done for not getting that one, because it was last year's amount. So remember, they do tend to change each tax year. Okay, so question 7. What is the maximum number of weeks of statutory maternity pay entitlement, or SMP? Was it 26 weeks? Was it 39 weeks? Or was it 52 weeks? So once again, let us reveal the results. So, and once again, we do have a big majority again. So we have 13% have said 26, with 77% saying 39 and 10% saying 52 weeks. So, Duncan, can we assume that the majority are correct once more?
We certainly can. Well done to the majority who said 39 weeks. 26 weeks used to be the entitlement quite a long time ago now. It was increased maybe 10 plus years ago. And 52 weeks is the maternity leave period that you can take, but after 39 weeks, there's no statutory pay due. So for SMP, the answer is 39. And a quick tip, if you do have any legislation queries where you want to quickly check for answers, a great place to check is in your legislation settings. So within Sage 50 Payroll, if you go to Company and then Legislation, if we start with SSP, that confirms our weekly SSP rate, £109.40. And for parental pay, we can see 6 weeks at the higher rate of SMP, 33 weeks at the standard rate, add them together, and that gives you your 39 weeks. So loads of useful facts and figures available there in your legislation settings.
Thank you once again, Duncan. Okay, so final question for round 2 was, how can you adjust your pay to include statutory sick pay or maternity pay in enter payments for company absence schemes? Is it manually record the absence after the scheme ends, or was it make a basic option in enter payments? Now remember, we did have multiple correct answers out of those 3. So once more, I'm going to reveal the results, and then we'll bring Duncan in to see who got it correct. So we have, again, 2 big majorities here, 87% and 85%, respectively, saying manually or make a basic option in enter payments, with 4% going with the record the absence after the scheme ends option. So again, Duncan, can you let us know which is the right answers?
Yep, they got it spot on. So the answers there were either manually or using the make up basic option in enter payments. So you still need to record the absence at the time, especially with parental absences, as you'll be reclaiming them. So the adjustment to the salary is either done manually or using make up basic. A quick reminder of where you'll find make up basic is in the enter payment screen. So let's just find our employee currently on sick leave. If we go into the enter payments screen for them, you'll see that they have some SSP payable. But if we've got a company scheme and we want to give them their full pay, we can enter the amount we want them to receive. So this is a full month's salary. We can go to the summary tab where it shows both payments right now. And if I click make up basic and then yes to continue, you can see that it's adjusted the pay so that the total gross is the salary, but it is now made up of statutory pay and basic pay. So that's make up basic, and that's one way to accommodate company schemes if you need to make an adjustment for a statutory payment. So well done, everyone that got them answers right.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Okay, so we did have the anagram, and I can see a lot of answers coming through in that questions section. So thank you again, everybody who has been getting involved. And I can see one familiar theme that's been coming through there. So Duncan, can you let us know what that anagram is?
I can. Drum roll. You've got to do it. It's statutory. So there you go. Well done to those that got that right.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Yes, I can see a lot of statutories were written in there, so we might even need to make the anagrams a bit harder. So thank you for that one. So that brings us nicely into round 3, which was pensions. So we did have our pensions and pension module webinar that happened on Wednesday. So we did run that one then. So let's have a look at the questions for this round. Moving into question 9 now. So let's launch that one. So this is a true or false question. If you use the pension module when setting up a new starter, you should add your pension scheme at this point. So either through the employee wizard or quick employee, when you're setting up the new starter, you should add your pension scheme at that point if you're using the pension module. Is that a true statement or is it false? Excellent. So that is the minute. So let's close that one down now. And we shall move on to question number 10. So let's launch that one. So how long does an employee have to opt out of a workplace pension? Is it 1 month from their active membership date? Is it 6 weeks from their enrollment date? Or is it 5 months from your staging date? Okay, so that is the minute mark. So we'll be closing this one down and moving into question number 11. So if we launch that one now. So for schemes based on qualifying earnings, what are the minimum contributions? Is it 3% employer, 5% employee, 5% employer, 8% in total, or is it 3% employer or 8% in total? So what are the minimum contributions for schemes based on qualifying earnings? And a reminder, this will be on for a minute for this one before moving on to the final question. Okay, so we have a couple of seconds left to get your answers in. What are the minimum contributions for schemes based on qualifying earnings? And that is the minute mark done. So we will be closing that one down now. So let's close it down. Okay, that brings us on to the final question of round 3. So let's bring up question number 12 and hit the launch button. So question 12, how often do you need to re-enroll employees who opted out or left your pension scheme? Is it every 6 months? Is it every 3 years? Or is it only when they ask to opt in? How often do you need to re-enroll employees who opted out or left your pension scheme? Okay, so we're approaching that minute mark. So final chance to get the answer in. Was gone, so we have now reached that minute. So let's go ahead and close that question down. And that concludes round 3 for pensions. So we shall be moving in to revealing the answers as well. So question number 9 was true or false. If you use the pension module when setting up a new starter, you should add your pension scheme at this point. So either through the employee wizard or quick employee. So let's reveal the results first. And once again, Duncan will be letting us know the correct answer. So let's share that one. So again, a little bit closer this time with a 60-40 split. So 40% saying it's true and 60% claiming that it's a false statement. So let's hide that once more. And Duncan, can you reveal the answer, please?
I can. The 60% got that one right. The statement is false. If you use the pensions module, everything to do with assigning or leaving a pension scheme is done through the pension assessment. And it's important that you do it through the pension assessment rather than assigning anything manually, because it allows the pensions module to create the relevant letters to confirm enrolment and to create enrolment files to send to the provider. So if you do your auto enrolment manually, it doesn't really matter how you add the pension scheme, but pensions module users definitely need to use pension assessment to do with anything with joining or leaving a pension scheme.
Thank you so much, Duncan. So yes, just highlight how much of a time saver the pension module can be actually. Another task that you don't need to do because it does it for you. Okay, so question number 10. How long does an employee have to opt out of a workplace pension? Was it 1 month from their active membership date? Was it 6 weeks from their enrollment date? Or was it 5 months from your staging date? So once again, we shall share the results. And once again, Duncan will reveal the answer shortly. So another majority on this one with 76% saying 1 month from their active membership date. Not as big of a majority as we have seen, because we did have 24% saying 6 weeks from their enrollment date, and nobody selected 5 months from your staging date. So Duncan, can we reveal, please, who got it right?
We can. It's the 76%, so the majority got it right again. It's 1 month from the active membership date. So answer B, 6 weeks from enrolment date is the timescale to send the confirmation that they've been enrolled. So you need to write to your employee within 6 weeks. But the opt-out window starts from the active membership date, and that is a period of 1 month. And for pensions module users, I just want to show you something very briefly. When you send pension correspondence, which confirms to an employee that they've been enrolled into a scheme, what that actually does is it records the sent on date in your pension scheme settings, and it records that as the active membership date. So once you've sent the information to your provider, you've confirmed that with your employee in writing, that's when active membership begins, and they have 1 month from that date in order to opt out and be entitled to a refund. So that one was answer A, 1 month from the active membership date.
Thank you again, Duncan. Okay, so question number 11. So this was minimum contribution amounts question. So for schemes based on qualifying earnings, what is the minimum contributions? Was it 3% employee, 5% employer? Was it 5% employer, 8% total? Or 3% employer, 8% total? So let's reveal the results. Bonus points to anyone who spots the error. But we had a majority saying 62%, which we had 3% employer, 5% employee on the polls there, and 10% for 5% employer, 8% total. 29% said 3% employer, 8% total as well. So apologies on the slight error there, but we're going to hide the results and let's see if that error was misleading enough or whether it didn't really matter anyway. So Duncan, can you reveal the answer, please?
Yeah, I'll reveal the answer. It was answer C. So it's a 3% minimum for the employer, and it's an 8% minimum in total. So although a lot of you went for our incorrectly stated answer A, which was 3% employer, 5% employee, that is typically what the contributions will be for a minimum scheme if the employer chooses to put the minimum in. But technically, under the legislation, it's 3% employer and 8% total, which are the minimums. But if you went with answer A, I'm going to give you partial credit anyway, because we kind of misled you on that answer. So back to you, Calvin.
Thank you so much, Duncan. So yes, apologies on the slight error there, but we couldn't make it too easy throughout the session, could we? We were getting far too many majorities on the right answer, so we had to be sneaky some way or other and get you with a technicality at least. So that was question number 11 done, and we are now on to the final question of round 3. So question 12, how often do you need to re-enroll your employees who've opted out or left your pension scheme? Was it every 6 months, every 3 years, or only when they ask to opt in? So let's reveal the results for question 12 before revealing the answer. So a big majority on this one, with 91% saying every 3 years and 3% saying every 6 months. 6% gone with only when they ask to opt in. So we'll hide that once more. Duncan, can you reveal the answer for this one, please?
Yep, gold star to the 91%. It is every 3 years. It was originally called triennial re-enrollment, and they changed it to cyclical re-enrollment. Every 3 years, if an employee has previously opted out or left the qualifying pension scheme, you need to put them back in and give them that opportunity to reassess their life and decide whether or not they want to stay in the scheme or to opt out again. And just on the previous question, I forgot to show you this in the program, but again, if you want to check things like minimum contribution levels, your legislation settings in the program is a good place to look. So company and legislation, we have an automatic enrollment tab. And from here, you can see the minimum contributions, 3% employer, total of 8%, as well as things like earnings triggers, thresholds, and assessment ages. So really useful source of information is your legislation settings. So back over to you, Quizmaster General Calvin.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Okay, so we are on to the final round of the session today, which is a processing, which we did cover in Get Your Payroll Done session yesterday, at Thursday, which we hope you don't find too taxing. And yes, that was a pun intended for you. I know that it's probably a terrible one, isn't it? So we'll move on swiftly to round 4 and the final lot of questions. So let's go on to question number 13, which is all about your process dates. So what date should you use as your process date in Sage 50 Payroll? So is it the date you're paying your employees up to? Is it the date you're processing their pay? Or is it the date they receive their pay? Okay, that is the minute come to a close. So let's close that question down now. And we'll move swiftly on to question number 14. So I'm going to launch this one now, which is when the minute starts. And we'll read out the question. So where can you find the payment summary reports in the pre-update reports window? Is it in the analysis folder in pre-update reports? Is it the summary folder in pre-update reports? Or is it the backs folder in pre-update reports? So these are the payment summary reports. So there's part 1 and part 2. Which folder in pre-update reports can you find these in? And that is the minute up. So we're going to close this question down now, and then we're going to move on to the penultimate question of the session, which is question number 15. So we shall launch this one now. How can you check to see when you last updated? So when you last clicked update records, can you do it via payment summary reports, which we have just tested where you can find those? Is it on the employee list, or is it to restore a backup? So how can you check to see when you last updated your payroll? Is it payment summary reports, employee list, or restore a backup? Okay, so that is the minute up. So let's close that one down, and let's bring up the final question of the quiz, which is question number 16. We shall launch this one. So which of these items are not included in an FPS? Is it the employer's national insurance? Is it student loan amount? Or it's C, recovered statutory payments? Copy and paste failed me there. So is it recovered statutory payments? Which of course is option C on the list anyway. Okay, so that is the minute up for the final question of the session today. So we are going to close that one down now, and it is time to move on to revealing the answers. But first, another anagram round. I know, exciting. We have one more anagram to run through. The clue is clocking in, and the word is esteem hit. So what does this change to? So answers again in the questions panel if you'd like, or of course you can simply write them down if you'd like to get involved. These are simply just bonus questions or bonus rounds for a little bit of fun, as it were. So completely optional for that. So it is a steam hit, and the clue is clocking in. So with that being said, let's move on and let's start revealing some answers. So question number 13. What date should you use as your process date in Sage 50 Payroll? We got a few questions on this on yesterday's webinar if you were attending. So let's reveal the results first and foremost. So we'll share those. So 65% majority said the date they received their pay, 14% the date you're processing the pay, or date you're paying your employees up to, got 21%. So let's hide that one down. Duncan, can you reveal the correct answer once more?
I can. The correct answer is the date they receive their pay. So this is a rule that was reinforced when real-time information, RTI, first came in just over 10 years ago now. And you need to report the date that the money is received by the employee as your pay date, and that should also be used to determine tax periods for all pay-as-you-earn calculations. There is one notable exception to that. If your regular pay date happens to fall on a non-banking day, so if you always pay the 25th of the month, that falls on a weekend, so you pay a few days early, you still report your regular pay date in your payroll submission, but you actually give the employees the money on that earlier date. So answer there is answer C, the date they receive their pay.
Thank you so much, Duncan. So yes, we did get quite a few questions on that on yesterday's session, but it is the date they receive their pay for that one. So question number 14 was, where can you find the payment summary reports in the pre-update reports window? Was it the analysis folder? Was it the summary folder? Or was it the backs folder? So let's reveal the results of this one. So again, big majority going with summary folder. Potentially a little bit of a red herring with the name summary in there, who knows? Or was it 26% getting it right with analysis folder? Or is it 4% if you're getting it right with the backs folder? So hide that down once more and bring back Duncan to let us know what was right. Over to you, Duncan.
Yeah, this one was the obvious answer. It is the summary folder, answer B. And just to prove that to you, if I bring the program up and go back to my payroll processing tasks, at the point we go into pre-update reports, I've got them added to my favorites, which I've seen many of you have as well, but they actually live in the summary folder, payment summary part 1 and part 2. So well done to those of you who got that one right.
Thank you so much, Duncan, on that one. And yes, I am giving bonus points to anyone who said favorites if you have favorited it, but you do need to firstly find it in that folder in order to tick the star to favorite it. But I will give a bonus point if it says favorites. So question 15 was, how can you check to see when you last updated? Was it the payment summary reports? Is it the employee list, or was it restoring a backup to check? So again, let us reveal the results for this one. Another big majority with a 92% saying the employee list. 6% of you went with payment summary reports and 2% with restoring a backup. So let's hide those. So Duncan, where can you check to see when you last updated?
A couple of places actually, but the one correct answer in this list is employee list. Payment summary reports are pre-update, so it's not going to tell you when you updated. Restoring a backup is irrelevant to this. That potentially would take you back to a pre-update state anyway. But if you look at your employee list, which I will do so now, we have a couple of handy columns. Last updated being the one that tells you the process date you last updated. So for this particular payroll, I know that I have not updated records for my September pay run, but the last time I did update records was for my 31st of August pay run. So that's my last updated date. I have calculated my wages for September, but I haven't finalized them by running update records. So well done to those that said to check the employee list.
Thank you so much, Duncan. Okay, so that leaves us with the final question of the session today, which was, which of these items are not included in an FPS? Was it the employer's national insurance? Is it student loans, or is it recovered statutory payments? And if we have a look at the results, and then Duncan will let us know who was right. Again, we had a big majority here with 80% saying recovered statutory payments, 11% going with student loans, and 8% saying employer's national insurance. So let's hide that once more. So Duncan, were the majority right again?
They certainly were. Gold star for those that said answer C, recovered statutory payment. So the employer and employee national insurance, as well as any student postgraduate loans and PAYE tax, is all included in the FPS. But if you've recovered a statutory payment, you will need to send an EPS, an employer payment summary, at the end of the tax month you've claimed it for. So the recovered statutory pay is not in the FPS.
Thank you for that one, Duncan, as well. So yes, big majority getting it right once more. So anagram time. So again, I've seen a few answers in the list again, and it all does seem to be the one answer. So Duncan, did they all get it right?
So the clue was clocking in. Esteem hit goes to, you guessed it, timesheet.
Was indeed timesheet, and that was the answer that I've seen coming up in the question. So well done to everyone. I will have to remember to make these anagrams slightly more difficult if we do them again. Of course, that is if you have enjoyed them. So yes, that was the anagram for the final one. So now it is time to come to a little bit of a close for this one, but I am going to steal presenter now. Because I do want to run through just a little bit of further support with you all today. So, as always, as a Sage 50 payroll customer, you have a few options to you when it comes to support. Now, the first one is our help center. Now, if any of you are actually in the payroll program now, what I do recommend is just pressing F1 on your keyboard or clicking any of the help icons and just having a quick look at what pops up. So we have included our help center, or a slightly adjusted version of it, that is directly in the program. And all the features you see on the slide here, such as searching our knowledge base, support guides, access to webinars as well. So we have had a nice National Payroll Week with a bit of this fun quiz at the end, but we do still do regular webinars every week, which you can access via the help center itself, as well as videos to watch, and of course the get in touch options if you do need to speak to anyone can all be found either at sage.co.uk/help, or by simply pressing F1 on your keyboard or pressing any of the help icons in the product. Now, if you do use F1 or the help icon, the help center itself that pops up will adjust to offer you the support based on where you are in the program. So if you're in the employee record and absence tab, for example, press on the help guide and it will give you all the examples of those absence symbols, for example, or another guide on employee absences. So, and you can still search if you need to. So I do recommend giving that a go and seeing how you fare. Now, the other thing to mention is Sage University, which is free to register for. So again, it's a big recommendation from me. If you'd like to go and expand your Sage payroll learning, Sage University is a brilliant little resource to have to hand, because you can access some e-learning courses there, some bite-sized learning as well as some Sage certifications, including more badges. And we're doing a badge for this week, which I'll come on to in a moment. But that Sage University, you can achieve even more in there as well. And the best part is you can do these at your own time and in your own pace as well, or at your own pace and in your own time. I always get that one back to front. So you can attend and have a look at sageu.com whenever you get the time. I appreciate with payroll, time is always scarce as everyone is very busy at the time. But if you do get the opportunity, it is worth a look. And as I mentioned, it's free to register as a Sage 50 payroll customer. And if anyone uses Sage 50 accounts, there are also Sage 50 accounts courses in there as well. I mentioned the badge. So we have now concluded National Payroll Week 2023 webinars. Today was the last session, which has been a great fun for us. We've had some amazing sessions with some really big attendance. So it's been an absolute pleasure for both myself and Duncan to be able to run these sessions for you all week. It has been a busy one, and which is why we wanted to kind of conclude it a little bit with a bit of fun with the quiz today. Don't worry, as I mentioned, if you missed out on any of the sessions, which means, of course, missing out on this badge, as I mentioned, Sage University has plenty more to have a look at. And we are running this as a bit of a pilot this week for badging webinars. If you thought that was a good idea, or you're really sort of happy with the idea and you look forward to wanting this again, potentially doing another series a month or something like that, please let us know on the feedback form that you'll be directed to when you leave the session. As I mentioned, this was a pilot. We've never badged webinars before. They've always either been e-learning courses or those bite-sized learning, as I mentioned. So again, it would be really, really good to know what you thought of it as well. And of course, let us know what you thought of the quiz in that survey as well. So that's just a little bit about the badging that we've ran this week. So thank you again to everyone who has attended and who attended at least 3 out of 5 as well as I mentioned. There are recordings of all these sessions available, and you will get sent a recording of today's session. So if you attended late, you missed any questions at all, or you got distracted, anything like that happened today, or you missed the minute deadline, then you can watch this again and you can go through those questions once more if you like. And as I mentioned earlier, if you've got any colleagues who you'd like to get involved with, by all means, send them across the recording. But you will get that sent to you via an email, and it comes to you about an hour after we come to close. So we will stick around just a little longer to make sure we have answered as many questions as possible. It has been a really busy session today, so apologies if you are having any delays in any answers, or of course we've run out of time today and we don't get round to you. If you are leaving us at this point, as I mentioned as well, it has been an absolute pleasure to run these sessions for you all this week. I hope you've enjoyed them, whichever one you've attended. You will be directed to a short feedback survey when you come to leave the session. I know I sound a bit like a broken record when I say this, but it does mean a lot to both myself and Duncan if you let us know about any of the sessions that we do, especially when we try new things such as badging or quizzes, because we don't know if it's worked without your feedback, and we certainly can't come up with new ideas without giving us feedback as well. It's all done based on what you guys tell us and what we get from our customers. So thank you in advance for just spending a short amount of time filling that in. Do appreciate it. I'm going to jump on mute now, help the guys out with those questions that have come in, and I'll pop back shortly to say our final goodbyes when we've either answered all the questions or we do indeed run out of time. So thank you so much, and I'll speak to you soon. So thank you once more. All that's left for me and Duncan to say is I hope you've had a wonderful National Payroll Week this week and a great week, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend coming up and you're all looking after yourselves out there and still staying safe, of course, and hopefully we'll see you in some future webinars. So thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.